Hi YouTube, it's Fester here, and it's New Music Tuesday, so I'm back with another review for you. Now, to be honest, calling it New Music Tuesday today is kind of fallacious, because the album that I'm reviewing was actually streamed in its entirety over a week ago on NPR, so I'm obviously talking about the new Fiona Apple album. Now, I really liked this album, and I have to, of course, give you a disclaimer right away. Fiona Apple is probably my all-time favorite artist of anyone, any genre. So I went into this with pretty high expectations, pretty high hopes, and I wasn't disappointed. It's a little bit different than what maybe she was going for last time. Her last release over 7 years ago, Extraordinary Machine, was probably one of her popular albums. A lot of people actually complained that it was overproduced. There was a second version of it that was released, and they felt like some of the production really ruined some of the songs. This is the exact opposite. They're very skeletal. Not a lot of production, not a lot of, backing tracks, stuff made in Fruity Loops like so many artists these days. It's mostly really just her and a piano and sometimes some kind of quirky percussion and stuff like that. It's been getting good reviews, for the most part by critics, especially track reviews. They released a couple of singles at a time. Probably my favorite song from this album is the first one. What the hell is that called again? No, I already forgot the name. Well, my second favorite song is called Periphery, and that's one I've only been listening to for about a week or so, whereas the first song from the album, her first single, Every Single Night, that's the name of it, Every Single Night, and that's been released on SoundCloud for, probably about 2 months. And you really have to listen to a song a couple of times before it starts to get catchy. I don't know if you know this, but it's just kind of the way the human brain interprets sound. But, oh yeah, if you are a Fiona Apple fan, you are probably going to like this album very much. If you aren't, you still might like it, but it's definitely different. It's very melodic, and she has just amazing vocals, amazing timbre in her voice, and some of these melodies are just really, really fun and really pretty. And I think catchy too, if you listen to them a couple times, like I said. But I mean, there's certainly no Call Me Maybes on here. Unfortunately, that's my biggest complaint about it, is that I don't think there's any singles that could get played on terrestrial radio on this album. But that could be said about, kind of most of her albums too. She's really only had, one or two big singles, the top 40 type songs. But I loved this album. It's difficult for me to say what my favorite Fiona Apple album is. I would probably still have to say When the Pawn, her sophomore album. I liked Extraordinary Machine a lot, and there's some things about this one that I really like a lot. Like, I think it really showcases her vocals. It's very raw, very emotional, and it really talks about how crazy she's gone. Here's a little backstory about Fiona Apple. She is absolutely crazy. She's gone through some traumatic stuff in her life. If you were around in the 90s, you might remember that big kind of speech at the MTV Video Music Awards where she kind of went nuts and blah blah blah, and everyone was really loving it. Though it was quite a moment in music television history. But she's slipped into depression and alcoholism and then given it up, and some other things in the last couple of years, and she's talked about that in interviews quite extensively. She talked about how she was just kind of pacing up and down this hill in her Venice home. That she lives in Venice, which is pretty much my all-time favorite place in the entire world, and I just learned that recently, that she lives there. So now I just have an even bigger reason to move to Los Angeles. So God, yeah. Venice is the place where like Kasim G and Maker Studios is, and it's got an incredible beach. If you've ever seen American History X, where they play basketball, that's on Venice Beach. So anyways, that's where Fiona Apple lives. Kind of deviating off topic, but a little bit of info for you. So check it out. You can still probably listen to the entire thing for free on NPR. Maybe not, I don't know. But there's always torrents anyways. Or if you got money, buy her record, because you really, really should hear her. Thank you. Bye.